You're watching another Nerd Stalker interview.
Wasn't in here that is still kind of fun to read, and it really
Yeah.
just took off this year.
Yeah.
Was write three letters. I encourage you to go read that.
Yeah, right.
That was a fun one. And I wrote it some time ago, and it was based on a joke. But the joke has such realistic, a realism to the real job that so when people started reading it, it started catching on. And actually, I wrote it maybe 2 years ago, and all of a sudden this year it started really climbing into the top 10.
No, July 28th, 2011, to be exact.
But I don't know. Did you read that one?
Yeah.
It was a fun one.
Actually, tell him the joke. Actually, I think that was a good story.
The joke is, if you can imagine being this realistically occurs to people in their real lives. So in part it's funny because it's real, But the joke is that an entering new CEO comes in time to meet the exiting CEO, and the exiting CEO says, "Look, I've got some advice for you. In this drawer are three letters. And when you run into problems in the company, open these three letters in order, and that will take care of everything for you."
Okay.
So the new CEO is in, and after about 6 months, he has a major catastrophe. It was horrible. He pulled out the first letter and opened it up, and it says, "Blame it on your predecessor."
That's good.
So think about that. Even the presidents do this. Okay, blame it on your predecessor.
Right.
And gee, that worked. The thing blew over. It was no problem. His job was saved. He goes on for about another year and a half or so.
Right.
And then another major catastrophe comes up. And he reaches in very carefully and cautiously and opens the second letter in order, and it says, "Reorganize."
Oh my God.
Right.
You see that one?
That worked phenomenally. Okay, the reorganization, and he saved his job again.
Okay.
So now another year or so goes by, and a major catastrophe comes up, and he reaches in with hesitation, and he pulls out that third letter, opens it up, and carefully reads it, and it says, "Write three letters."
Your exit is near.
Now, if you think about that, that's about as factual as what really happens.
Yeah.
Always blaming something on someone else. Then they reorganize to solve a problem, and then finally they get asked to leave.
I see.
Those are real events.
Wow. No, that was good. I like that thing, and like you said, a lot of Taffy's work actually, if you go through his blog, is not timely. I mean, it's not time dependent. You could read it, any time and actually get some pretty good advice on small business, startups, leadership, a lot of stuff on leadership actually.
This will be the same way with the book. I'm currently in the middle of a book. We've talked about this.
Let's talk about that for ending 2013 here. Let's talk about your book.
I hope to have this out by the summer. I'm not quite sure of the timing yet. Can't talk about the title just yet. We've got a publisher. We're in the process, about halfway through the book, and it definitely will provide some insights, I think, that entrepreneurs are going to like. It provides some advice and suggestions and a workflow for how to deal with certain things and assess themselves. I'm hoping that by the summer we're in the process of being able to get that out, and it's going to come out. Amicom is the name of the publisher, so we're in the process of getting that done. So we're about halfway through the editing job, and with any luck, I think that maybe this summer we'll get it out.
Well, that's great. So,
and I'll be able to talk more about it later.
Yeah. No, we want to hear more. We want to get some exclusives. But hey, next month you're headed out to the West Coast here, right?
Yeah, the J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference is a major healthcare conference where senior people from almost every healthcare organization, this is like drug companies, device companies, insurance companies, hospitals, all of the major entities come out, and they present primarily because investors come and will invest, but it's also a great networking experience. Now there are parallel things taking place that are also for people that may not be invited to attend the J.P. Morgan conference, like Biotech Showcase is one.
Right.
And Biotech Showcase is great for biotech. And then there's about 3 or 4 other ones. And so there are probably 15, 20,000 people would descend on San Francisco, all from the healthcare and biotech space, in that week.
Wow.
Even the investment banking groups will come in and set up satellite sites because they don't poach on site. They actually have it and they invite people in and talk to companies while they're out there. Right. Some companies will have board meetings there because everybody's attending that conference. So it's a major conference.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and maybe next month what we'll do is we'll do something a little bit different. Why don't you maybe kind of give us a summary of that event through your eyes? I'd like to hear a lot about that. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that sector.
They oftentimes have segments on CNBC that are filmed from there in the mornings, so you just watch that and you'll see some things. And some of the big bloggers that work in that space get interviewed, and they show up on CNBC, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to get your insights. Taffy is really connected in the biomed biotech space, so I think you guys would like to hear a lot of his insights. So anyway, we'll close it off here. I appreciate it again. We'll end 2013 on a good note, as always. So anyway, so how can listeners get a hold of you and get a hold of your company?
Hopefully, I guess mine's backwards, but hopefully on the bottom it says colonialtdc.com. That's the website.
It's the right way here.
If you go to the top right-hand segment of that website, there are drop-down menus to the blog site, to the Examiner site, and to my photography. You can go through and peruse some of that. I'm still looking for another place to go shoot some photographs, but those are all accessible and easy to find there. It's easier than spouting the correct web link for each one of them. You just go to that, and they're in a drop-down menu.
That's fine.
And so there's an email address in there, so I'm easy enough to hopefully to find through those.
Yeah, and your Twitter address is Twilly. TWILLI 2861, right?
Yeah. So at TWILLI 2861. Yeah, it's a real inventive name. It turned out to be my AOL email address. And back when I created the email address, I was not sophisticated enough to come up with something like Word.
Well, no, but that was sophisticated because we could find you the same way, so that was really fun. So anyway, happy New Year there, Taffy. I really appreciate it.
Happy New Year to you.
And I really, again, enjoyed these last few months of doing a lot of this Startup Blog Insights with you. So hopefully we'll do more in 2014. So anyway, that was Taffy Williams of Colonial TDC. You can catch him in the small business section of theexaminer.com. Through Charlotte Small Business Examiner, where he writes a lot about his articles about entrepreneurship and startups, of course, and his blog, Startup Blog. So thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Voria, a.k.a. Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerd Soccer Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Thanks again, Taffy.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.
All right.